Oh man, my favorite arc. My favorite arc on the show would, for me, I mean, I really enjoyed what we did recently, and seeing the character grow on the show, and what he's doing now in terms of growing into becoming a man. And I really enjoyed what they did with Melusi, giving him more story, and we got a chance to appreciate him in the more recent years of Isibaya, him taking over his father's business, and the whole taxi industry thing, and him learning about the taxi industry, him thinking that he's capable of taking over, and us learning, kind of like learning with him, learning through him, and growing with him. And it was more than just about the taxi industry. At some point it started to become about life, and we were teaching Melusi about life, and at the same time, teaching other kids and other viewers about, some things about family, the Zulu culture, and most importantly, that's what I felt like was most important about the story, and why I enjoyed it so much is because there was so much that we got to learn, and so much we got to take away from the story.
Sibali. Yini lento yenzayo? Ufike ekhaya nabafana bakho la uphethe isibaba uzodubula ubaba.
Bengivikela umndeni wami njengendoda.
Oh. Windoda wena.
Insizwa nsi. Futhi ungakhohle ukuthi lempi le iqalwe yini nabantu bakwaNdlovu ngenkathi nihlasela ubaba.
Siqala impi thina.
Mhlawumbe wena kuzomela udecide ukuthi udlalana liphi iqembu. Ngoba lento yakho kuba nteke ngeke zisebenzele.
Yebo ukhuluma nobakanti ukushange kulala mina ngizwe. Ufika lapha ekhaya, ufika ekhaya lami. Wozini? Mawukhuluma njengasazi wena, wozini lezimpi. Lalela la wena. Ngoba ufika lapha ekhaya, uyazi ukuthi udadewenu ulele lapha. Manje uzofuna elinye igazi lami lababo wami. Lalela la wena. Cela ungilalele Sibali. Ngiyazi mina ukuthi kuningi okuthwele. Ngiyakwazi lokho. Futhi mina ngiyazi ukuthi ucabanga ukuthi unesandla ekusweleke nadadweni. Ngiyakwazi lokho. Kodwa ndizwa kuzomela uyixolele. Ngiyangizwa. Kuzomela uyixolele nsizwa.
But for me personally, being Melusi, my favorite arc story for him was back in the day. I would say back in track back to season 2, when Melusi first stole the taxi at home, and so for me, that was probably my favorite arc, because I was so free in my art, and I was still young, and I didn't have much stress and much pressure about performing, and about arts and everything, acting as a whole. I wasn't so worried about it. But so because I wasn't so worried about it, I was very free in the craft, and I was very free to play and enjoy. So when we did the whole arc, there's the storyline where Melusi steals his taxi, and then he runs, and then he gets stopped in the middle of a dirt road somewhere, and then he comes outside, and then Ashayu Bongani is healing, and then Bongani ends up in hospital, and Melusi gets back in his taxi and he runs because he was doing a load when he was supposed to be in school, and he wasn't even supposed to be doing all of that. I really enjoyed that because, it was my first challenge as an actor, and I think it's the first time we got to see Umeluse Ganga, Umeluse Hlupa, that side of Melusi that we like to see, him being, a naughty child. So that was the beginning of, Melusi for me, and that's why it's so important for me, and that's why it's one of my favorite story arcs.
Majimbos, singena ku stage 2.
Ungwenye uyena umuntu obekudala efuna ukuthi alimaze lo mndeni.
Akekho umuntu ozophumula la uzotholakala wena uphila noma ufile. Manje bamthola abantu bakaZulu bazoqeda ngaye.
Lo Satan kumele afe.
Doesn't matter how fast you run, you can never run from your ghosts. The living and the dead.
akumele sivumele inhliziyo zethu zisilawule. Sizofika isikhathi sokukhala. Kodwa hayi manje.
Yo, did Me Lucy affect my real life? Yeah, it did. Crazy story. Every time something happened on Isibaya, it would happen in my real life too. You know, it's almost like me and Me Lucy were kind of like going through life at the same time. Because, you know, he's the boy from KZN, I'm also a guy from KZN. Me and him are very similar in many ways. So playing him wasn't very hard, but also it was very, you know, challenging and also crazy in a sense that, you know, sometimes if something happens in my life, then it would also happen on screen. Or if something happened on screen, then it would also happen in like my real life, you know, like if Melusi, for instance, is having, you know, maybe issues with his dad, you know, then I'll also be having issues with my dad in real life. And then I'll work through that and sort that out. And then my issues on Isibaya with my dad would also get worked out and sorted out. So it was a crazy thing that happened. It's like, it made me very, a bit, you know, sketchy about this acting thing, because you don't know what things you're bringing in from the universe. You know, you don't know what energies you're attracting, and you don't know what you're calling forth. Because sometimes when you play a character well, and you're like in the scene so much, and you believe your craft, you believe like what you're doing, you know, sometimes you being lost in that moment, in that scene, or you losing yourself for that character can cost you, because sometimes the universe doesn't really understand or interpret the energies that we put out there. So maybe it can think, maybe this is what you want, this is what you're attracting in your life, and then it happens in real life too. So it's crazy how this law of attraction thing works with acting, because, you know, you have to kind of like, you can't fake it, you have to portray true and believable energy. So that's what I found that was very challenging and tricky with Isibaya.
Hi, my name is Amina Jack, and I worked with Nkanyuso for a very long time. I think it was 7 years, because yes, I had just started high school. So yeah, we basically grew up together on set, and seeing him then and actually seeing him now is just incredible, because I think I got a front row seat to just walk this journey with him, and just sit and watch him grow and become the man that he is today. And working with him, I always looked forward to it, because I knew Uti my day was gonna be perfect, and he was always happy. You know, he was always happy, and his happiness is contagious. And when you see him, just like, hi, and I always missed him. You know, still miss him even now. But I'm also just grateful for the bond that we have, and also the relationship that we've built over the years, because he's my brother and I love him to bits.
On an ordinary day on set, when I'm not shooting, I'd walk in, you know, sit down somewhere, watch the TV till I'm bored. And then in the makeup room, I'll probably start hearing some arguments, you know, people talking out loud. And then, you know, as soon as I walk in there, I know I'm going to find someone arguing about something political, or people just talking about how they can change the world, or people just talking about the future of the film industry, or people just talking about something. There's usually like a hot topic that the artists are arguing about, and it's probably whatever that's trending at the moment. That's why I feel like we should have had those conversations on record. But, you know, mostly just, you know, talking nonsense, arguing, and finding something to pass time, or just, you know, sitting and doing nothing and just waiting to shoot. What I'm carrying with me, and what I think I will forever, you know, carry from this experience and this journey that I've had with Bomb Productions and Isibaya, is the ability to work under pressure. Yeah, I think if there's one thing that we've done a lot on the show is work under pressure, and it got to a point where we didn't even feel the pressure anymore, and it was just like the pressure was a normal thing. And, you know, I learned that getting used to the pressure is how you overcome obstacles and whatever it is you may be going through. Because sometimes it feels like, oh, it's a lot, it's too much. But either which way, you're still going to shoot that scene. And whether you're happy about the scene or not, you know, the scene has been shot and it's still there. People are going to see it on TV, and, you know, there's nothing you can do about it. So you just have to make sure that even if you're under pressure and even if you're nervous and you're feeling all those emotions, always do the best of your ability and always achieve to the highest of your capability as possible, and don't hold back. Make sure to not hold back for any moment, for anyone, and for any second.
This part of the country is no stranger to bloody clashes between rival taxi organizations. With the multi-million rand highway tender on the table, the burning question is, will it ever end?
We are for peace. Sabantu nje vele abafuna uqondo kwakudala thina abozungu siyaziwe. Lamanyana enzekela namhlanje asihambisani neze nawo.
Nkosazana, uyazibona lezandla zimhlophe qwa. Asihlangane nayo yonke lento sekuphelile.
Tandega, my name is Marona Kwele. Can you tell us what you know? Tensions are clearly still high, and as the web of greed and corruption grows, hope for cooperation between the Zungu and Ndlovu clans hangs in a very delicate balance.
This is how I lost my mother.
Firstly, I'd like to say that I'm very grateful for the opportunity presented to me. The whole, you know, Bomb team and the whole Isibaya team, you know, I hope you guys know how much I appreciate, you know, everything we've been through and everything we've done with the show. And, you know, I feel like I owe my childhood to the show. And, you know, I practically grew up with the show, and I feel like because of that, it's always going to be a big part of my life. You know, those are years that I can't really get back. You know, that's the years of my childhood that I get to, you know, live with forever. So these memories are memories that I'm going to keep forever. And it's always going to have an impact on me and my craft going forward, especially given the fact that I started at a very young age. So I'd just like to say to the producers that I'm very grateful for the opportunity that was given to me. You know, Desiree was more than just a producer to me. She was a mom, you know, she was like a mother to me. You know, she looked after me, and she even did things for me that she didn't have to do, you know, but she did them because she cared. And that's something that, you know, I would always be grateful for. And, you know, my time and my experience with you know, Bomb and Isibaya will always be priceless. And so I would just like to say I'm grateful for the opportunity, and I would just like to wish Bomb the best on everything they're doing, on everything they want to do going forward, and all the projects they have lined up. You know, you guys changed the game with Isibaya. You changed the game with Yizo. You've been changing the game, you know, and I think hopefully going forward you're still going to continue to change the game, and I don't think, you know, anyone can ever top that.
Ososho ngasuthola moya Ososho ngasuqoma moya
Grande.